Hi everyone. Today we're going to work on Mixed Media Morsels dessert number 3, and I'm going to call this Scrap and Stash Embellishments, because I'm going to show you how you can make a few really cute embellishments just using paper scraps. Like these are scrapbook paper scraps, and these are painted paper scraps, and you can use just the little bits and leftovers, something as small as something like this, to make some really cute embellishments. And out of your stash, you can use things like thread. If you've got one of those label makers that make the little plastic labels like this, you can use something like this to put on your embellishment. You can use your punches and printables. These little things here are printables off of Pinterest that I had found some free printables. So you can use things like that. You can use your stamps, stamps and images. This one's colored in with markers or pencils. I don't remember which one. I think pencils. But tickets, you may have tickets laying around. And by the way, if you don't have tickets laying around, just cut a rectangle and then take a regular hole punch and go around and cut just the corner using that hole punch, and you can make all of those little quarter circle indentions there. So it's easy enough to do, and all you need is a rectangle piece of like cardstock. Then you've got stickers that I'm sure all of you have in your stash. If you don't have any stickers, there are some very cute little small stickers that are really inexpensive that you can get for your creating. I got these. They're Hallmark stickers, but I actually got these in my grocery store. I shop at Publix, and they have cards and stickers and things in there, and these were only $1. Okay, so, and there's 4 sheets of stickers in each package. I think they were $1. No, these were $2. I'm sorry. Some of the smaller ones that I got, like the robot stickers that have 2 sheets, those are $1. But they're really inexpensive, and they would make some really, really cute focal points, tiny focal points for your little embellishments. So I'm going to clean this mess away so I can show you what I've made, and then show you how to make a couple of those. So I'll be right back. I was inspired very recently watching my friend Jane Horn's videos. Her YouTube channel is called The Book Lady Jane, and I will link her channel in the description of my video. If you don't see it, make sure you click where it says see more or show more, something like that, so that you can open up the full description to see everything that's in there. But I want you to go over and check out her videos. She makes some of the cutest little embellishments, and she uses a lot of them on cards, and she may use them elsewhere too, but I know for sure she does use some on her cards. And when she gets all of her scraps together and starts to make some embellishments, she calls it stash busting. So she's got some stash buster videos that are really cute, and I was really inspired watching her put together her embellishments. So I really encourage you to go over and check out her channel. But from watching her video, I put together this little one of her videos. I put together this little piece that I just really love, and it's just made from scraps of scrapbook paper in this case. So I just did a scallop punch on the back. This is just some kind of thick paper. It's not really like cardstock, but it's a heavier paper. And then there's 3 colors of other little pieces of scraps that I just cut, and this one I rounded the corners, cut the ends to do like the little flag shapes, and took a sticker word from my Tim Holtz book of big chat stickers, and I put a piece of foam adhesive. I glued all of these together just right on top of one another, and then I put a piece of foam adhesive in here to raise this up just a little bit off of the background. And then I added a little piece of coffee stained lace and went around the edges of everything with a little bit of brown ink. And this string is just from that little spool of thread that I showed you. I just pulled off a long piece and wadded it up literally wadded it up and laid it down here, and then I stuck down that piece of foam adhesive, and it holds it down, and it's just the cutest thing. I mean, that thread's not going to go anywhere. Added a button and some little tiny leaves, and here's another way to use your scraps. I cut these tiny little leaves from a piece of this same paper. It was the scrap that was left over when I punched this out, and just hand cut some tiny little leaf shapes right there and glued them on next to that little flower button. So there's just a gazillion ways you can use up your scraps and really make the most of them, you know. So I just love this little embellishment. It'd be so cute on an art journal page or in a scrapbook, on a card. I mean, you name it. You can use something cute like this on almost anything. So it can go on the front of a journal, a book of memories. You want to, you know, write your memories down, you know. So I love that. Okay, and then the next one I was putting together was one of these. And all I did was I took a strip of scrapbook paper. It was about, I guess, about 1.25 inches wide, and I fan folded it in tiny little folds. They're not all exact and even, but they're pretty close. And you want to keep them pretty close so that it all lays kind of flat. And you fan fold this paper, and then you bend it around and attach the ends together, which I did right here. See if I can bring it up so you can see it. So right in here is where I attached the two ends. And then you've got this cute little fan fold. And it's really kind of fiddly at first because it's hard to get this glued in here. And I put glue, like some Scotch quick dry adhesive. I put some of that in there, and then I had to sit and, you know, really hold it together because it wants to, you know, punch back out, you know. So you squeeze it in together, and I got enough glue in there and held it for just a little bit. I mean, you have to be patient with it, but it makes the cutest little embellishment. And then it wasn't extremely secure. It was secure enough, but it wasn't extremely secure. And then when I took some of my paper flowers, which I know we all have a gazillion paper flowers laying around, when I took one of those, this one on the bottom, and glued a really good size area, and then pressed that down on it, it helped to hold the fan paper in place. And then I added some other layers of flowers and a little bling embellishment on top, and went around, and on the mountain of each one of those folds I just put a dot of stickles all the way around, just to give it a little bit of shine. Now this would be really much cuter, I think, if you had a paper that was a little more patterned. I just pulled out a plain sheet. It really just had circles on it. You can see them kind of in those little folds. You can see the circles that were on the paper. But I actually just pulled this out just to see if I could do it, if I liked it. And I did like it, so I just kept going, forgetting that it was such a plain piece of paper. So if you get something that has a little bit more pattern and color on it, you would have a little bit more of a, you know, colorful type of fan fold flower. And these may have a name. I don't know if they have a name or not. I saw this years ago, and I never made any. And I thought, I'm going to try that and just see if I can do it. So it can be done. But like I said, you can make it a little more colorful, and it would be, you know, a lot more fun to, although that one is really kind of cute on its own, you can put that on a colorful page or on a colorful card. And, you know, the plainness of the big circle would kind of stop the busyness of what's going on your page. So that would work as well. Okay, and then I made a little paper clip embellishment with a piece of painted paper scraps like these. So I had a lot of little strips and things, you know, leftovers from other projects. And so I took one of those, and now these are usually done on magazines or book texts. You know, when I'm doing my jelly printing and stuff, I use a lot of that kind of thing. So they're not very sturdy or substantial. So I glued the colored strip first to a piece of cardstock, just a plain piece of white cardstock. And then I slid it into the paper clip here. And, well, first I put a little piece of double-sided tape inside there to hold it together. Then I put it in the paper clip and folded it over and stuck it down. Cut the little mountain shape out of the end of it to give the flags the little points. And I added underneath the flower, it's almost covered up, but underneath the flower there's a little grid. You might be able to see it right there. There's a little green grid back in there. And that is a piece of this drywall tape that I had painted green for another project I was working on. And you can see it better probably down here, the color against the white. But it's self-adhesive on the back, and so I just cut a little square of it and stuck it on there because it matched with the green paint that was on the paper. And so that gives it some neat little texture back there. And then I just stuck a couple of layered flowers on top, and the little rhinestone in the middle. And I'm probably going to make one of these and show you just how simple this is. And it's really cute. You know, if you've got, say, a journal page or a planner page, you just simply slide your paper clip onto your page, and you've got the little cute decorated flag there. I love those. So it's really easy to make your own. You don't have to spend a lot of money going and buying them because you've got all these types of scraps laying around, and this is something so simple that you can do with those. So I'll show you how to make one of these. And then I made a really sweet one that I ended up really liking. It's really sort of nature themed, organic looking, you know, and in neutral colors, you know, natural greens and browns and things. So I just took a piece of corrugated cardboard. That's all this is. And it's a small corrugate in that, so I'm thinking that it came off of a probably came off of a coffee cup holder, the little corrugated cardboard holders. And if it didn't, it was just from maybe a box of packaging or something that had a small corrugate. But you can look for these, keep your eye out for these, and hang on to them so that when you want to make something small, this really looks nice on a small little embellishment. So I had the plain cardboard, and I had already pulled off one layer of the paper. It was just something I had done for another project, and I had leftovers. Here it is. It looks like this. So I had pulled off the paper, and I left some of it there because it looks kind of cool and neat, you know, when you leave some of the paper behind. And I took a couple of colors of green and green paint, and I just, you know, rubbed those on with my finger. And just messy, just anywhere, just to put a little color on the cardboard, so you can see it underneath the dragonfly. You can see that paint color there. So, and then I just put a couple of scraps, some scrapbook paper scraps. Here is a green with brown dots, and here is green with little tiny leafy print on it. And I just put those on with glue. And then I added the image of the dragonfly that I had stamped on a piece of book text. And it was, you know, usually when I get my stamps out, I'll stamp several, you know, and then I toss them in a box so that when I'm getting ready to work on a project, I just take out my box and go, ooh, I can use that dragonfly. I already stamped it. And, you know, it's nice to have them stamped and ready. So it was stamped, ready, sitting in the box, pulled it out, tore it out, and glued it on top of that piece of cardstock that I put there. And then I took some painted paper, some painted green, I think it was book text. Yes, I can see the text. Painted green book text, and I just hand cut some leaves out of that green paper, outlined them with a green marker, and just started gluing them, kind of tucking them in the valleys of that corrugate. And then I added the word. So that's a simple little embellishment. It's so simple, but it looks so intricate, and it's just so fun, you know, and it would be adorable on a tag or on a little book. I mean, that would be really adorable on the cover of a book, you know. So that was one that I made. I had so much fun making these, you guys. You're going to really have fun putting these together. And by the way, I forgot to mention this earlier from the pile. Pieces of calendars. This is an old calendar from 2013, and I had thrown it in a box just to keep it in case I wanted to use it. But stuff like this is really cute in these, because these are all about layering. You know, here I layered paper upon paper upon paper upon paper. You just keep layering, and something like this with the number grid and the calendar is very cute, tucked in the background of something, you know. So hang on to little things like this when you see calendars, little tiny, sometimes they're even smaller, sometimes they're only this size, you know. So hang on to those because they really come in handy for, you know, this kind of thing when you want to use up your scraps, and then you can put it with other little things that you got laying around, all these things that are in your stash, you know. So, and also I wanted to mention too that in case, I mean, for those of you who haven't seen it or don't realize it, I have put a value kit in my Etsy shop of a lot of my favorite mark making tools. And this drywall tape is one of the things in that kit, as well as the other drywall tape with the little holes in it, and some punchinella, and just, you know, those things that you see me using all the time to make marks on my projects. So if you're interested in getting a value pack that has a little bit of everything in it, go check it out at my Etsy store. There is a link in the video's description to my shop, and you'll be able to check that out and see if that's something that you might like to have. All right, and then the last one that I made is this really sweet little banner, little flag banner. I love this so much. And this is nothing more than little painted paper strips like this. And I took them and cut them into a size like this, very tiny, about 2 inches long by, like, I think these are about a 1/2 inch wide. And yep, that's it, 1/2 inch wide. And I took that and put glue stick on the back, and I'm going to show you how I do this. Put glue stick on the back, fold it in half, and then put it on top of, you know, whatever kind of thread you're using. I use some baker's twine because I really like the black and white look with all the color. And but you can use any kind of string, twine, yarn, thread, whatever you want to use. But anyway, I got the paper folded and glued in place, and by putting glue on the whole piece on the inside here, it helps to keep your flags in place on the string too, because your flag is actually glued to the string, so it's not going to slide up and down on the string. So once I got that glued in place and let it dry, and then I came back with scissors and just merely cut this into a V, just like you see here. And then I you know, put some outlines and some dots and things on it to make it pop, you know. And actually what made me make the dots on it was this piece of paper that I had used. This is part of from my Christmas cards that I had made back in December. I had already splattered some dots, and so it had dots on it. Only the red one did, the rest of them didn't. So this morning I was like, you know what, I want some more white on these, and I'm going to put white dots just like I had here. So I just went ahead and added some dots this morning, and I think that makes that look really cute, because you can see the rest of these did not have any kind of white on the back. And they're adorable just left plain. If you did no outlining or anything else on them, just the colored flags are adorable. So there's lots of options also with this, okay? So anyway, you can see I went kind of crazy making embellishments. But like I said, it's so fun, and you know, once you get started, you don't want to stop making them, and it's fun to have a bunch of them made up and in a little container waiting for you when you're ready to decorate something. You've got them already made up, and you don't have to stop and take any time to do it. So I'm going to show you how I made a few of these. Again, like I said, clean this stuff up, and I started to clean before, and I ended up just shoving everything back. So I'm going to move some of this out of the way so that I can show you what or how I made some of these, and we'll get started with that in a second. Okay, so I have my piece of baker's twine cut, and the pieces that I'm going to use for this banner, I'm going to use from a sheet of labels that I stamped on. These are the Dilutions paints, and I was using the little round blending tool when I was painting, and so I grabbed a sheet of labels each time I was done with a particular color. I twisted it on to a label sheet just to use up the paint that was left in the blending tool. So that's how this got created. Just using up paint in the blending tool. You know, I like to use up all the leftovers, and look what prettiness you can get from leftovers, guys. Come on, don't throw that stuff away. So I took these labels and I cut some in half and then in half again to make some little 2-inch strips to make these little flags with. So I ended up with these pretty little pieces. Aren't they sweet? So I'm going to make flags with these, and I was thinking that by using the labels, they're going to stick to themselves, you know, when I fold them over. Or at least that's my hope. So I'm going to fold these in half and get them ready to go on the line. And on the line, like it's a clothesline. Kind of like that. To get them ready to go on the twine, the string. And then I'm going to see if they're going to stick together well. If they don't, then I'll get the glue stick out and I'll put some glue on the backs of each one. And we'll just do it that way. But I just need to get these folded and ready to be fit right over that string there. Okay. All right, so let me see about these colors. I want to spread out the colors, make sure I have a good balance of, you know, the oranges and the other colors. And those Dilutions paints are really, really pretty. Very colorful. Okay, I think that's pretty good. There's probably some I like on the back too, but you know, you can flip your banner over if you... Okay. All right, so, and I like an odd number, so there's 7 here. And, well, there's 6 here. Where's my 7th piece? Oh, here we go. I couldn't count there for a second, huh? See, this one's got a lot of white on it. I've got a couple of other little pieces over here. Let me get one that's got more color on it. I did have 7 out. Oh, here it is. It fell in the floor. I found it. Okay, so here's the other one. Now we have 7. All right, so I guess, let's see, there's, I guess that's kind of cute. Trying to spread out that orange. There was a little less of the orange, I think, than anything else, but I think that's good. We got it spread out pretty well. Okay. So having 7, that means there's going to be one odd one, so I'm going to put that in the middle. And then the rest of these will just go, you know, in place around, I mean on each side of the string, okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take off the backing, and let's see if this is going to... Feels pretty sticky, so I just don't know how old these labels are. That's why I was concerned about the stickiness of it. All right, so when you get it in here, just, you know, press it into that crease first so that it kind of stays put, and then you can fold it right over on top of itself, and there you go. So I'm going to do that all the way down. Now remember, if you don't have labels, that's fine. You can use the paper strips like I used here, and you can use scrapbook papers or painted papers or magazine pages, anything that's got some color on it, you know, that makes a little flag like you'd like to have your banner look. Okay, so you can leave these as rectangles and cut the little, you know, the little V shape, or you can cut the little area in the bottom here. I think I'm going to do these that way. So what I'm going to do to make the 2 points on the flag is what I was talking about, is just cut a little snip right in the bottom, in the middle between the two edges. So just kind of eyeball it and cut a little snip there, and the size of this little snip depends on how long you want those tails to be. Okay, so then all you do is cut from the edge into that center at an angle. So you cut from the edge into the center. There. So see, you get a little banner flag that looks like that. So that's kind of cute. That'll be fun and different. So you just make your little snip and cut at an angle from the corner into that little cut area. All right, so you end up with a cute little flag like that. Now you can outline it. Like to use a black because it makes the colors pop when you have a black. When you add black, you know, we like to add that pop of black. So I'm going to use a Posca pen and just show you what that looks like. I may not go around the entire thing, but I mean all the way down the flag banner, but this is the idea. And it's a little fiddly, you know, you have to hold on to them because they want to wiggle around and stuff, but you can see how that makes the colors pop. It is it's really fun. Use up scraps, use up your stash. Isn't that fun? So that's the way you do your little banner. And then if you want to add anything, you know, white would be cute in there, especially these that don't have any white on them or have very little white. It would just be, you could just keep going until you're happy with it, basically. Okay. I wanted to show you something that I just found in my box of paper scraps. I found this little tiny tag that I had already made, put an eyelet in the top, and then didn't use it. And I realized how cute this little piece would look on this tiny little tag. Look at this. It's like perfect. I'm so glad I saved it. See, that's why if you make something and you end up not using it, don't throw it away. Just throw it in your box, you know, in your bag, in your area that you keep your little pieces and bits and things in, because that is a perfect use for that little embellishment. And it's already got a black eyelet in the top, which totally blends right in and goes with this whole little theme going right here. So I'm going to take that same black Posca pen, and I'm going to put a little border on this tag, and I'm going to put this embellishment on it because I just love it that much. And this is, you know, will just really help set it off by adding this little border. Okay. And I think I'll also just run a little bit of, I was going to use the stamp pad, but I think I'll use my marker and a pit pen and go around the edge just to darken that edge too, and finish defining this tag shape. Go. A little bit more here. There we go. Okay. See, that just looks so sweet. All right, let me attach it and then I'll show you. Got to get my double-sided tape out. Let's see, do I want to pop that up with a piece of foam or leave it flat? I don't know, it's so dimensional, I think I'll just leave it flat. And just put a little bit of this double-sided tape on there. Cut a couple of pieces and just stick it on. Okay. There we go. Better hold on to it, make sure I get it on there right, because you know, once you stick this stuff down, it kind of wants to stay wherever you left it. There's no adjusting. There we go. Oh, that is so fun. I love that. Totally sets it off. That tag just totally sets off the little piece. So this would be perfect by itself, or it can be put onto something else, you know, and embellish something else even further. It can be put on a bigger tag. You know, it could still be put on the front of a little journal. And look at this, how cute this would be. Put a little piece of this in here. This baker's twine, the black and white. Actually, I want to do it the other way. I'm going to cut a piece and then I'll pull it through. If I can get it through. Let's see. This is one of those, the struggle is real things. It's a tiny one of those small eyelets, and so the baker's twine is a little bit thick. There we go. Okay, and then I'm just going to put this through and pull it and knot it at the end. Oh, that's so sweet. I like that a lot. There you go. Look how cute. I love that. That is just really fun. I'm really happy with that whole thing. That's adorable. Okay. So next up, I have the paper clip piece that I said I would show you how I made. And let's scoot these over. All I did was put a little glue on the painted paper so that I could attach it to the cardstock. I'm going to cut this. I'm just going to trim it up where it's closer to the color and not have so much of the yellow on this piece. So I'm going to go straight up like that. Okay. And let's see. We'll go ahead and fold it in half. like that. And then I can make sure that my edges are even. This one's not quite straight. Let's see. There we go. Perfect. And then I'm going to trim the bottom edge off and nice and straight through both layers. Okay. So you got two sides with the painted paper on it. And all I'm going to do is just put a piece of that tape on here. I think this 1-inch tape will be fine. I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom with it. I'm just going to do a little piece there towards the top of the fold. So basically it's going to be right up here, not right in the crease, because you don't want it, you don't need it necessarily sticking to your paper clip. It's okay if it does, and if you want it to stick directly to your paper clip, you can put it up right up next to that crease, but I didn't do that on that last one I made. All right, so now I can put it on the paper clip. I've got a green one picked out that I thought would look really cute with these colors. Don't put it on the short side where the clip comes down and stops. You want to put it on this side where it's a complete line there. So I'm gonna slide this in. Okay, and just slide the paper clip right down to the crease. And then I'm gonna fold it over and line up my sides and press it down. Okay, now if you want a long flag or long banner hanging down, you can leave it there. If you want it shorter, this is the time you can trim it off. If you want to leave it as a rectangle in the, whatever length you have here, you can embellish that rectangle as a whole like it is, or you can cut it into a flag shape. You can cut it into a triangle. You can cut it into a flag with the 2 points at the bottom. You could you can cut any shape you want. You can cut it off with decorative edge scissors and make it scalloped on the bottom if you want to. I think I'm going to just trim it off just a little bit, and then I'm going to add the 2-pointed bottom like I did there. Use my other scissors. Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit higher this time for the points to be a little bit longer. Okay, snip it from the corner to the middle. Okay, so there we have the little flag banner on the paper clip. Okay, so I found another little package of adorable little owls stickers, and I think I want to put an owl on this little flag. There's some small ones here, like I've been kind of laying them here trying to see what's going to fit the best, and the tiny ones look really cute, but I can't decide which one. They're so sweet. Let's see. I'm looking at words too over here that I have next to me. Thinking about the words that I want to put on. That little guy's kind of cute too, right here. Little orange one. I think I might use that one. This one maybe. I like this one too. I like him because there's a lot of green and he kind of matches that little clip. So let's use that one. Let's use that green one. See, this is so fun. You get to use these stickers and things that you have sitting around, and you're like, what am I going to use all of those on? Well, this kind of thing is perfect. Okay, I think before I put it on, though, I do want to put a little border on it because it's easier to do your border before you start sticking elements on. So I'm going to use the white Posca pen, and I'm going to make a little like stitched border going around the edge. of the flag. That's kind of cute. There's no white on this piece of painted paper, so the white looks really nice. There we go. Put my finger in it again. Gotta watch that. These things are small, so you have to be careful where you rest your finger to hold it down. Okay, so let's hit that real quick with the heat tool. All right, now we can put our little owl on. Oh, it doesn't want to let go. Come on. Okay, got it. Go. Put her there. Okay. And I've got a little word from the Tim Holtz Chit Chat stickers. I'm going to put the word C in place, and it's a tiny word, and I'm going to trim it down to make it even smaller, and oops, and that way I have room for it to for the word to fit on the banner flag. Let's see, get that. There we go. Okay, just tiny little piece, tiny little word. So I don't think it's going to fit that way, so I'm going to turn it sideways and place it right there. Well, maybe move it down a little so I can outline it a little. There we go. That's cute. Okay, now I'm going to use a micron pen with a fine point. This is a 0.25 micron, and it has a tiny little nib. So you guys, you see how you can use your stuff, you know, and you can make the most fun, cute little things. These would be adorable. You could make a set of, you know, 3 or 4 of these to give as a gift to someone. And even a child would love this to stick into their little journals and their little notebooks and things that they use. So, I mean, that is just precious, I think. So, see, I think I had one more I was going to put together for you guys. I have this little printable from Pinterest. I'm sorry, I don't remember where it came from, but it's just printed on cardstock and folded it in half. It's like the size for like a Project Life, I think that series is called, journaling cards, whatever. So anyway, I folded it in half, and I thought it would be cute to make a little card that you could attach, or you could give it as a card, you know, whatever, but it could also be attached on a journal page or a scrapbook page or a full-size greeting card. So I'm going to use the word today. I've got a stamp that says today, and I'm going to stamp it onto this card. And I'm also going to use this leftover flower from the Christmas cards that I made that I mentioned earlier with those red strips over there. I also use these flowers, and I thought that would be a cute place to use a leftover flower. It's made, it's done, I didn't use it, so here's a good spot to use it up, right? So I'm going to have this out with me so that I can see where I'm going to be placing this word. I'm going to open the card up so that I can see what I'm doing. I mean, so I don't have it moving around as much. Okay. I'm going to stamp this on a piece of scrap paper just so that I can see how it's going to work. I've never used this particular stamp. even though I love it, I haven't used it yet, so I want to make sure it's going to stamp good before I stamp it on my project. Okay, so I've got the the ink, and now I'm going to place the flower there, and I think I'm going to put the word here. I'm using Stays On black ink. There we go. Love it. All right, so we have the word today. And then, like I said, the flower will go here. Nice big flower. And I found this little scrap in the scrapbook scraps that I pulled out. And so I think I'm gonna take this and kind of slide it under the flower, and then just make a little tiny pointed flag out of this one. So I'm just measuring for the length. So I know I need it to be shortened about there. And then I'm just gonna make like an arrow, basically. Just make an arrow shape. There we go, just like that. One side is a little longer, so I'm gonna trim that a little bit. There we go, like that better. See, so then that can sit there. Love that, that is so cute. I've used up a few more pieces of stuff in my stash, scraps and leftover pieces from my stash. Look how sweet that is. I love it. I just think that is just so much fun, and these things, these little embellishments are just adorable. And they're so easy to make and fun. They're fun to do. It's not like a drudgery. You know, it's really fun, and you get to use up some of your things that you bought because you love them. So since you love them enough to pay for them, let's use them. Use them up. Okay? Have fun making your embellishments. Be sure to share them in the Facebook group. There will be a link in the video's description. And thanks so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll have fun making yours. Talk to you later, everybody. Bye-bye.